Welcome to the top of the morning show. It is your girl TZ from the D. I hope that you had a wonderful weekend. I know that I did. I got some much wanted and desired quality time to spend with my husband, and we mixed and mingled a little bit with our teenager, but we were able to get some much needed quality time, which is always good, especially when you're married. It's always great to reconnect and connect whenever possible. Now we do our own thing on a daily basis, right? But it's nice to get out into the atmosphere and just be who you are as husband and wife, but as friends and just enjoy. And that is what we did this weekend. I cannot complain. I had a great time. Shout out to my husband, Swifty. This morning's topic is gonna kind of hurt some people's feelings. Yeah. Especially the empty nesters, especially when your child or your children have moved out the house for the first time, right? And no matter how old they are, if they're 18 or they're older, moving out their house for the first time is kind of like, we don't want to clip their wings yet. We know they can fly, or they may not be the best flying bird, but we know they need to set sail and get out there and live life. Then you have the ones that went off to college, whether they move locally, where they're just 20 minutes, 30 minutes from you, or they're hours from you in a drive, or you got to hop on a flight. Okay. And then you got those that moved out and they got married. They have a whole spouse, right? Your son changed the name of a young lady, or your young lady, your daughter, allowed some amazing young man to change her last name. Whatever it looks like, I want to share with you this topic: support, but don't enable. I'm going to share some things with you to tell the difference in between, because there is similarity when it comes to balancing between helping your young person or enabling your young person. And it can be crucial for that young person and for you. So I'm going to share with you this morning, like I said, some people are going to get their feelings hurt. Sometimes truth hurts. Let's talk about the number one thing that stays on the board. The young person, they're not going to really tend to be like, no, I don't need you to do that, because that means if they do work, whatever money they have to do what they're doing with, they can do extra. We have to stop paying their bills. Yeah. Covering your young adult child expenses does nothing but create a crutch for them. They have to learn to be financially stable, financially responsible. When you go in and you paying that cell phone bill, right? Okay, now I can see if you're on the family plan or something like that, but guess what? If they are working, if they're working, they need to be giving you something. Even if you don't make them pay the whole bill because it's a family plan, I get that, all right? You need to make them give you something. I don't care if it's $20 a month, $40 a month, okay? Something. If they are married, then they should be getting on their spouse's account. They should be on their parents' account. You a whole wife or a whole husband. You a whole adult at this point. The other part is if they are at school. Now, here's the caveat to that. If they are at school, I don't care if they're local or if they're away, I would say I'm going to bend on that. You want them to focus on their work, right? So having a job may not be that. In some cases, they may work at their college, or have a little, off-campus job or whatever. So to take care of their books, if they don't have a scholarship or anything, so they're, whatever their little necessities are, get their hair cut, hair done, for young ladies, toiletries, young fellas too need toiletries, but we need other things, you know what I mean? But that's where I would say, okay, yeah, I could see that part of it. But they have to learn to be responsible. Okay? You can't do everything for them still. Now, another thing that you're going to say, what? Giving them money just in case. Giving them money as a backup can keep them from budgeting. It can keep them from balancing their checkbooks, their bank accounts, from understanding what it means to go into overdraft, to know what it means to say, dang, all right, the difference between I'm having ramen noodles today because, I live on my own or I'm at college, versus I could DoorDash. I can go downstairs and get what's on my meal plan, because most colleges have that. And when you live in a dorm, you really have that. I learned that from my son, my oldest son, when he went to college. They have a meal plan. It's part of the tuition. So they can go down there, but you got that spoiled son or that spoiled daughter. I don't really like what they got down there, so I'm going to DoorDash. On whose dollar? On whose dollar? Right? Because then now they feel entitled. Well, I don't want what's down there. Well, I'm not sure what you're going to eat. You're going to starve. You're going to become skinny if you're not already skinny. So what are you going to do? Right? And I know it's going to be hard to pull that rug from under their feet, but you got to, sis. You got to, bro. You got to. The next one is solving their problems for them. How are they going to be thinkers? How are they going to be the young adults that they're meant to be? If you constantly give them the answer to the challenges that they face on a day-to-day basis. Now, you can give them advice if they ask you, but you can't tell them how to do things. Well, you can kind of tell them, but don't tell them by example. Prime example. Your young person vehicle breaks down. Okay, whether they live on their own and in their own house or an apartment. If they are away at college, a little bit different, because if they don't work and they got a little car to get them from A to Z, then yeah, they're not gonna have the monies for that. So you as a parent, if you provided this car for them, because they obviously are not a freshman, they're a sophomore, junior, or senior at college, then you're providing them with a car, and you want to give them a little something that's gonna be reliable. That's the only time I can really see that. But if you're talking about somebody who's gotten married and they're moved out the house, or they got their own little apartment or house, or like I said, no, we can't. You gotta pause, because you're not teaching them and allowing them to face issues head on and develop, or I should say continue to develop, the problem solving skills. I know it's easier said than done. I've done it, but I'm like, I'll give you some ideas. I'll give you some suggestions. First, I'll ask you yours. And then I'm like, oh, okay. Well, I think that's a good idea. And then maybe you might want to also consider X, Y, and Z. But at the end of the day, they have to make that decision. You can't make it for them. You can't. And here's the other part. If you give them some money and they working, let's just say they moved out and they got their own apartment or own house and they're working. And maybe they're a little short on this because they haven't learned how to really balance the budgets. And now they're paying all bills: water, light, gas, entertainment. So maybe the Netflix account or Hulu or whatever they got. I don't know. All these unexpected things, insurance, okay? Like all these things. So if you give them a little, I'm gonna give you a little just in case. Just in case they what? Just in case they want to have recreation time, some free time, they want to go out, do. No, they have to learn how to get that money from the money they got, just like you do. Just like you do. You can't go telling somebody you want to go do this, that, and the third on their dime, but the money you worked and bust your butt for is for your bills and this and that. You don't got free time. You don't got free money. Well, then neither does the person you trying to get it from. And that teaches them also to set boundaries, and you need to set your own boundaries, perhaps. Now, here's the other part. Let's just say your college student moves back home. It's happened to me. They need to not live totally free. Giving them a place to stay and they don't got to pay rent is a blessing. If we can do that for our children, amazing. But if they come home, if they decide, college campus isn't for me, but I'm going to stay at home, and they work, they need to be giving you something. I don't care if it's $25 every paycheck. You got to make them give you something. Give them a bill on top of that. Give them a bill. Light, gas, water bill, I don't know. It depends, right? Grocery bill, a cell phone bill. I don't care. And I ain't talking about just their cell phone bill. Okay, well, you're going to pay a bill. Here's a bill that I'm going to pay rent. Why are we going to pay rent? So here's a bill that you could pay or you contribute to this rent. I ain't trying to break you, especially if you move back home, because now we got to have guidelines. We got to say, okay, look, I know you're used to your independence and being able to come and go as you please, but in this house, I still got rules and regulations, right? And so I want you to be able to save your money and get back out on your feet, because you're not going to be grown and living with me and thinking like you're going to eat all the food up and this and that, or go to that. Well, I'm going to just buy food for me. Excuse you? No. If you're going to buy something, it's for everybody here. Okay? Now, I can see if it's something that's your favorite, like, oh, these are my favorite Cheerios. I'm about the cereal, but these Cheerios, or I'll buy a box, but this box right here, don't do it. Respect. I respect that. If you order carry out a pizza or something, make sure you ask anybody else, do they want some? I had to teach even my older son that. And then he got the swing of it as he got a little bit older and more mature. But we gave him also a bill. He had to take care of one of the bills. And that ain't even really totally prepare him for adulthood, but it did. Another thing we got to stop doing is intervening in their personal relationships. The little love relationships they have. Now, if they ask us for our advice, okay, cool. But you can't be telling them who they should date. And I know I'm talking to myself as well. They have to decide what's best for them and who brings them joy. And we're judging on the outside. We don't know what that man or woman does for them or to them or for them that makes them feel good about themselves. So it's not our right nor our place to be trying to tell them, unless it's a toxic relationship and you already know we're on it. Okay? Now, you want to help them make the best conscious decisions, but you can't keep helping them avoid consequences. From every action sparks a reaction, whether it's good or other. So they have to learn how to be accountable for their actions and do what's best for them. Okay? When they make a decision, another thing we got to stop doing, trying to check them. They're grown. If they moved out, especially if they got married, they got a whole spouse. They don't need you to tell them, oh, well, I was thinking you should. No, ma'am, sir. No. If they're at college, you could say, hey, well, this, that, and the third, because again, you still paying for them. You paying their college tuition. You are. So you got a little something to say, but not much. You gotta let them learn how to deal with their day-to-day lifestyles as they will become it, because you won't always be here. Okay? Now, here's one that is gonna be like, oh, supporting their lifestyles beyond your means. So you gonna give to them, especially if they name brand junkies. You want to buy them something for Christmas, but they don't wear this if it ain't couture, or if it ain't this, or if it ain't that. What? Then you don't want nothing. I'll give you a couple of dollars for Christmas in the car, and you can put this to what you want to do to add to it. But you got to teach them, like, hey, it's not about labels. It's about what is clean, what looks nice, what looks decent. No matter who made it. But if you raise one of those type of people and they all about name brands, then you kind of created a monster. But this is the time to let the monster out the cave, especially when they don't live with you anymore. Again, that's teaching them to prioritize, because they budget in on your money. If you were the one supplying those designer clothes and shoes and purses and glasses and whatever else, then that's when they lived at home before they became a young adult. Once they become a young adult, no, it's a no. I don't know. It's a no. And that's going to teach them to be more financial independent upon themselves and creating those boundaries for yourself. Why you going broke trying to do for them? What? If you offering to buy them a car, this is your budget. Find something within this budget. If it's over the budget, then I'm going to need you to get you a job, stack your money, and add to what I said is my budget, and then we can talk. But all that other, I don't want them to be mad. What? They better get on the bus, better take an Uber, a cab, or something, bicycle, roller skate. I'm not sure. But if you going broke because you're trying to supply their demand on what they going to do and they don't even live in your house, and even if they live in your house and they're young adult, what? Are you so crazy? And then, let's not even talk about the ones that don't even respect you. On top of you supplying their desires and their needs and wants, like, what? No. It's a whole no. It's a whole no. Okay? Now, here's another one. Doing a laundry or cleaning up for him. Now, this is what I used to do when my oldest son lived here. Him and our teenager shared a bathroom. And it was like, okay, y'all take turns on however y'all work that out. If you say, yo, this your week, or, this is my week, or whatever, however y'all work it out. If I gotta come in there, I made them pay me. Yes, I did. $10. Y'all want me to do this? $10. You want me to do your laundry? $25. And my older son, he paid me $25 every other week to do laundry because he was working. By the time he got in, he was tired and sleepy. So what I would do, I did his laundry. He took the basket down, or the baskets down. I did the laundry. He brought the baskets up to his room and I would hang the stuff up. $25. Easy for me. Then he got to the point like, well, I ain't gonna be able to pay you this week, so I'm gonna do my own laundry. Okay, cool. But just know, the only person in the house is guaranteed to get laundry done if they want it done besides myself is my husband. Because my teenager, he does his own laundry right now. My oldest one, of course, he lives on his own, and of course, he does his own laundry. But yeah, and even when we go to his house, I wouldn't mind, but he probably like, yeah, I'm good, ma. His house, I thank God he keeps it clean. But I'm like, okay, yeah, okay. Now I don't know if he tidying up real quick because he know we come. It don't even matter. It look good to me, so that's all that matter to me, right? But if you gonna try to help him out, you gotta create some type of something that'll make them feel like, all right, this ain't for free, mom or dad, okay, mom or dad. So that's all I got to say. I could go on and on and on, but when we got them young people to move out and they go to college, they get married, blah blah blah. Life changes for them and for us. And I know that it's a hard habit to break because a lot of us are used to doing for them, but they have to be taught and reminded that they are more than capable. Because I'm pretty sure as a parent, you have equipped them, sis. You have equipped them, bro, with the necessary skills and tools to be successful young men and women out here. That's all I have for you on this beautiful Monday morning. Until the next time we leave footprints across the sun, it is your girl, TT from the D, and I'll see you soon.